The document arrived at our secure Dropbox in San Antonio at 3:42 a.m., timestamped just minutes after the third shift ended at the plant. It wasn't a standard corporate memo. It was a terrifyingly detailed manifest of internal tolerance failures regarding the V35 FTS engine block, a piece of engineering that was supposed to revolutionize the American pickup truck market, but is now threatening to bankrupt the reputation of the world's most trusted automaker. This isn't just about a recall. This is about a fundamental betrayal of the Toyota way. For decades, you bought a Toyota because you didn't want to think about your car. You turned the key, and it started. It was the safe bet, the boring bet, the reliable bet. But what we are uncovering today suggests that inside the boardroom in Japan, a decision was made to trade that legendary reliability for complex performance metrics, resulting in a catastrophic failure rate that has left over 100,000 trucks ticking like time bombs in driveways across America. To understand the magnitude of this $15 billion disaster, we have to go back to the moment the V8 died. The 5.7L I-Force V8 was a dinosaur, inefficient, heavy, and ancient, but it was bulletproof. When Toyota announced they were killing it for a twin-turbo V6 hybrid system, the forums exploded with skepticism. Toyota assured us, trust the process. We have tested this engine for millions of miles. That statement is now the subject of intense legal scrutiny. Our investigation reveals that the machining debris, the official culprit blame for the engine failures, is actually a symptom of a much darker, systemic issue involving the main bearing design and the oil galleries of the new engine block. When you machine an engine block, metal shavings are inevitable. Every manufacturer deals with this. The process to clean them out is standard industry practice. So why did Toyota, fail at the one thing they invented? The answer lies in the rush to beat the EPA regulations and the Ford F-150 power boost. Insiders suggest the casting mold for the V35 were modified late in the development cycle to accommodate packaging constraints within the TNGA-F platform, creating blind spots in the coolant and oil passages where metal shards could hide, only to be dislodged miles later by the high-pressure oil flow required by the twin turbos. The result is horrifying. We are talking about main bearing seizures at highway speeds. Imagine towing a 10,000-pound boat, your family in the cab, doing 70 miles per hour, and suddenly your engine locks up. No power steering, no power brakes, just a dead brick of metal and panic. This is not a hypothetical scenario. It is happening to real owners right now. And the fix? It's not a software patch. It's not a new sensor. The solution is an entire engine replacement. Do you know what that entails for a modern truck? The cab has to be lifted off the frame. The entire front end of the vehicle is dismantled. A technician, who is paid flat rate and incentivized to work as fast as possible, is now performing open-heart surgery on your $80,000 truck. The margin for error is astronomical. Hoses pinch, clips break, harnesses are routed incorrectly. A truck that undergoes an engine swap is never the same factory-perfect machine it was when it left the line. Resale values for 2022 to 2024 Tundras are currently in free fall as the market reacts to the news. We tracked auction data from Mannheim and Odessa, and the trend line looks like a cliff. Dealers are refusing to take them on trade or offering insulting loans, effectively trapping owners in vehicles they are terrified to drive. But the financial damage to the consumer pales in comparison to the existential threat facing Toyota. This recall is estimated to cost nearly $1 billion in parts and labor alone, but the reputational cost is incalculable. Toyota's brand equity is built entirely on the premise that they do not make mistakes like this. If you take away reliability, what is a Toyota Tundra? It's not as fast as a Raptor. It doesn't tow as much as a Super Duty. It's not as luxurious as a Ram Limited. Without reliability, the Tundra has no identity, and the silence from the top is deafening. While Akio Toyota is out racing hydrogen cars and talking about the joy of driving, thousands of American workers in Texas are staring at a production line that is churning out liability rather than assets. We spoke to a master technician at a high-volume dealership in Florida who wished to remain anonymous. He told us that they have a backlog of trucks waiting for short blocks that extends into next year. We are cannibalizing parts from new inventory just to keep customers on the road, he admitted. It's a shell game. This brings us to the most disturbing part of our investigation, the hybrid cover-up. Toyota initially claimed the hybrid iForce Max models were unaffected. They claimed the electric motor provided a buffer, or that the start-stop cycles were different. But recent filings with the NHTSA show that hybrid owners are experiencing the exact same catastrophic failures. The debris does not discriminate. It is floating in the oil of the most expensive, complex version of the truck, threatening to destroy the battery systems alongside the combustion engine. This $15 billion gamble on the TNGA-F platform was supposed to streamline production across the Tundra, Sequoia, Tacoma, and Land Cruiser. Instead, it has created a contagion. If this engine flaw is inherent to the design or the manufacturing line that feeds all these vehicles, we are not looking at a Tundra problem. We are looking at a complete meltdown of Toyota's body-on-frame lineup. The Lexus LX600 uses this engine. The new Sequoia uses this engine. The Land Cruiser uses a variant of this architecture. If the contagion spreads, we are witnessing the Tacoma airbag moment for Toyota engines. The irony is bitter. Toyota spent decades mocking American manufacturers for their reliability issues. They built ad campaigns around the million-mile Tundra. Now, they're the ones issuing do not drive advisories and scrambling for answers while Ford and GM watch from the sidelines. As we dig deeper into the supplier networks, we found that the connecting rod bearings were sourced from a new supplier in an effort to cut costs by $4 per unit. $4. That is the price of your safety. That is the price of the Toyota legacy. In the coming weeks, we expect class action lawsuits to multiply. There are already whispers of a buyback program, but Toyota is resisting. A buyback of this magnitude would wipe out a quarter of their annual operating profit. So they stall. They issue interim notices. They tell you to drive carefully. But how do you drive carefully when the enemy is a microscopic piece of metal floating in your oil pan, waiting for the worst possible moment to strike? This is the brutal truth they didn't want you to know. The Tundra isn't just broken. It was doomed from the first casting pour. And for the loyalists who defended the brand, who argued on forums, who paid market adjustment markups of $10,000 over sticker price, this is the ultimate betrayal. The king of reliability has been dethroned, and the usurper is their own arrogance.